Zhang's drinking power is very good. That's the same group of people tonight. I drank a lot of wine. Intense dance, double cheeks pink. It's a bit difficult to even walk. The enemy brought 2 bottles of wine. His eyes were burning to avenge Zhang Yi. Even though we lost in the fight. But he wants to find a chance. Get your face back on the drinking table. But this time he lost worse. Even to browsing. People who talk less are also strongly dragged to drink a few cups. By midnight, the police chief was driving. They took Zhang and the others to the apartment. For the outsider. I don't know if it was intentional or accidental. The chief of staff just opened up a room for them. He drinks less alcohol than he is quite sane. She looked at Zhang Yi lying on the bed. Just discovered the situation. You're both in the same room. Not out of the red. Where do I sleep here? As soon as she's about to leave, Zhang Ji suddenly sat up from the bed. Wait. His eyes are a little blurry, but his mind is clear. But that wasn't enough to get him drunk. With the personality of Zhang Yi, it's impossible to get drunk in a strange place. He yawned a little and asked. Everybody's gone. Put the long min tree to one side. It's gone. Are you pretending to be drunk? Not really. Even when I'm drunk, my mind stays awake. He actually drank a lot. But only a little bit of real drinking at first. Then when the enemy and others. I want to risk my life with him. Zhang Yi secretly used his space power to pour most of the wine into it. He took a bottle of milk from outer space. Thanks to pasteurized soup warmed by a kettle. Sit down on the sofa in the room. Waving her hands, the flower jumped up. Sitting on his lap with his legs crossed. He stroked the flower and leaned on the sofa. Think about the information you get in today's day. His eyes were as bright as snow. To build the light of wisdom. This time, the Great Hall of Fame has assembled the top psychic from outside the city, not like last time, is to summon all the forces. This also shows the strategy has begun to change. We no longer use our power of numbers. Kill them again. Instead, we're turning to elite groups. It means that the numerical advantage is useless. The chapter slightly squinted. This way of doing it is really accurate. A person who has reached Delta level, especially those with combat abilities, their power is far beyond human understanding. Even, they can ignore most of the hot weapons. Lightweight. In such a situation, people with low-level abilities and normal people. Even the well-trained soldiers. It's hard to make it work in front of them. After 10 organizations of the paranoid were destroyed, the dentist realized this. We've just begun to change the way we operate. And the next team of angels will lead the team. The powers outside the city, likely to support the operation. Then it's his responsibility, and the psychopaths outside the city. What is? Stinky firecracker. Let's put these 2 words in your mouth. But he quickly shook his head in denial. If you need fireworks, the best option is to use more people. Normal skills and elite soldiers. This time the people who were sent. About power sure will be stronger than the 10-year-old. The first dysfunctional organization. Despite the general combat abilities of the gifted, outside the city, not as professional as the Blizzard team. But our personal fighting prowess. Certainly no less than they are. Based on the information that they've collected in the previous 10 parts, the group has only 13 members. So is the general area considered. Let's restrain those people. Or not. Then create an opportunity for the angel squad. When the milk is ready, she says, I think it is for us to make sure those women will not escape, even though once they recognize the signs of unrest. They will probably run away first. It's much harder to chase them than destroying them. He took the bottle and drank a sip of warm milk. After drinking wine, and take another sip of warm milk like this, it really makes people feel warm. It is much easier in the stomach. He nodded yes. It's easy to decide if you want to win or lose. Like this is war. People will not deploy raw. I will beat you to death. They're going to use all kinds of conspiracies. If they don't fight, they run. He suddenly remembered an interesting fable. Laugh at browsing. Master, I want to ask you a question. If the rat lets the fire run into the ammunition depot, you have to do something. With a blink of an eye, she quickly understood. This is a classic story. There are originals from their TV series. 15 years ago. She smiled and said, give the cat water to put out the fire. We are cats and the moon is the mouse. Laughing, but in this story, what do water and fire represent? Salary slightly frowned. You're confused with this question. The fire maybe. It's just the negative impact that they have. As long as they survive one day, this whole neighborhood will not be safe. And outside people will also think that our Jiangnan area is useless. The water we don't know. Water used to put out fire. Jiangnam area is going to deal with this werewolf. You know how to do it. Take a deep breath. Maybe we are the water. Browsing his face full of confusion. We don't really understand. Strong fluid rubbed the head of the flower very strongly. We act together and exchange angels. The main force of this campaign. I changed the angel. Then it's possible. It's the people who are used as sacrifices. Animal sacrifice. If we could believe that, the leadership class of the regional headquarters will not hesitate. We use our lives in exchange for the destruction of the lunar organization. Do you think it's right? This is also the biggest concern in the heart of Trong Yi. He's not afraid to face danger, to compare with lunar eclipse. But he doesn't want to be a ballast. His eyes swayed violently. You were going to say something, like words that came to my mouth without knowing how to speak. To emphasize the voice, a few more parts. We don't see the whole of Jiangnan doing that. There's no problem. Even on the battlefield, there's also a way of luring the enemy inside. Let a part of the army be the bait for sacrifice. War is like that. To achieve the winning General Fine Pea contest, even a carriage can be sacrificed. Everything is about winning the last champion. But he bent his head and stroked the flower. Feel the softness and warmth in its fur. This is what he likes the most. I'm not that great. Especially with you and the flowers. When we're together, we have to be more careful. No matter what happens, you have to remember one thing. You have to put your own safety first. Once it's discovered that life is at stake, you must flee to safety immediately. After listening to the silence for a while, suddenly she raised her head. Seriously asked the translation chapter. No matter our escape leads to mission 7 failure. You have to do that too. He glanced at her in his eyes with a tease. Do you think you are too important? South Africa really wants to destroy the Earth. They can do it anyway. They're just considering to see if the required bid value is worth it. There's even this possibility. If the price is too high, I'm not sure they didn't negotiate. Let them exist on this land. It's the end of the world. AI, they have their own interests to protect. Even the senior members of the Kier Blizzard. It certainly won't be an exception. The salary is amazing. She excitedly said it was impossible. If you did something like that, they will be reviled by the world. Smile again. Since the day the Blizzard called all the mutant organizations in the Jiangnam area to form a superpower alliance, then that also means Snowstorm City. They're no longer able to manage the entire area. Then, it's not just the situation in the land in front of us. It's like that all over the world. The United States is a powerful force. It can still maintain the stability of 6 large areas. And other areas are mostly disintegrating. Mutant forces big and small grow like mushrooms. Even the suspicious self, it is also divided into 2 large organizations. To the Lake of the West and the Manure of the East. There's a lot of mutant organizations hiding underneath. They want to reverse the situation. Like lunar eclipse. Along with the emergence and flourishing of mutants, conflict and chaos will become more frequent. Use the classic phrase in the 3 Kingdoms interpretation to say, it is the world that has long been fading. Tan long aggregate. It has been psychologically prepared for a long time. Salary, despite previous events. The personality also changed a lot, but a person's nature is hard to change. The police must be clear with you. Avoid being impulsive at important times. Though SAO, this isn't the first time you've taken a risk. Because it's too impulsive. They don't know how to speak as skillfully as Zhangji. She pouted her lips silently for a moment and then crossed her arms. It's all your morality. I know what you told me to do. Then we can do that. She's a fitness teacher. If you tell her to use a weapon, she's very good at it. But asking you to brainstorm is a little difficult. And that's what makes you happy, right? She glanced at you. Then look at the flower. The flower is wheezing a very interesting look, lying on my lap. In the heart of aesthetics, a combination like this is amazing. Strong fighting power. To listen again, I can say it couldn't be better. I think we have a meeting tomorrow. Just say it right away. It's not too early. Let's get some rest soon. He said he was going to take a shower and sleep. The browsing face jumped a little red. Take a break, Tao. Blink of an eye. I remember now. It was the school district that gave them a room. I don't know if it was because I was too drunk. Or should I forget this detail? It's also possible that the school board felt that the relationship between 2 people, they're not normal. It's in danger now. The manager of the apartment is also on vacation. The chin is a little disturbing. I swear to God, this was not his intention. At that time, he's just thinking about dealing with the flu. Basically didn't think about it. His face flushed red with embarrassment. Try to be calm. Turn the door to go out. We should still get out first. Zhang Yi said from behind her back. It's so cold outside. You want to be head dead. Further today, do not rest for good. I'm going to a meeting tomorrow. That's important. Not to make fun of the world. Or SAO. The soldiers bowed their heads and spoke like mosquitoes. But how do you sleep in one room? He glanced at the bed in the room. It's a very large double bed. This bed is also quite large. It's a little tight. Translation, of course. I can't sleep in the same bed as the translation. I heard him say. You blushed. They're at this age. Accidentally bumping into each other is normal. There is no shortage of ordinary people. The opposite is the browsing itself. To hold the hand of approval. Drag her to the bed. The campaign threatened to give the salary approval a terrible battle. While lying in bed, your face is red as if on fire. See that? Shuang Yi pulled the blanket for you and turned away. There's no other way. I have to give you a bed to sleep in. I was resting on the sofa in the living room. He is also quite polite to his relatives. Browsing shy voice. I slept on the sofa. It's not early. Go to bed. Salary also tells itself. Go to sleep. Don't think about what's not there. I decided to close my eyes and sleep. Early the next morning, Zhangji woke up. The salary is still dreamy. He didn't sleep well last night. At least I can't sleep until you wake up like you're at home. Just think about the problems we're going to face. He also felt worried in his heart. Everything is still unknown. But the more mysterious something is, the more terrifying it is. After the personal hygiene is done, he sat down by the TV in the living room and turned it on. The broadcaster's voice was soft and clear. 26 for organizations in exile come from the Rose. Crossed the sea from the Rose, and it's been closely watched by the entire neighborhood. The most moving of them. It's all under our control. The General Department has now launched a joint operation. Gathering the elite forces. We must destroy these invaders. It's a little warmer outside today. Temperatures Buday's highest possible, up to -52 degrees. I hope everyone does a good job of keeping warm. Very passionate about the translation. Even though the content is bland and boring. I don't know exactly why. But even though SAO is live news, he hasn't seen it in a long time. Maybe he can feel it a little. The air of peace. Not long after. Also wake up. Just thinking about last night. In the same room with Zhang Yi, she bit her lips in her lap, a little complicated. I can't believe Zhang Yi was so obedient last night. Or maybe you're not attractive enough. Although in terms of beauty, she is inferior to Chu Kai Ni. A little honey. But on the other hand, you're even better. For example, martial arts. I was startled by the thought in my head. Hurry and shake your head hard. Let go of those thoughts. I can't really blame you. Tremendous pressure caused by the external environment. Plus, your age right now. Hard to avoid work. You'll develop feelings for elite men. And rare around me. The nurse saw you greeting me awake. Wait a minute. Do you want something to eat? I'm talking about food. That he stores in space. His own power. As for the food provided by the apartment, it wasn't until 7:00 in the morning. These things are not meant to be eaten. There's no other way. The snowstorm doesn't have many supplies. You can't give them hearty meals. I shake my head and I'm not hungry. A moment later, there was a waiter pushing the food cart. Go to them to give them food. A hearty breakfast of 2 boiled eggs. A cup of soy milk. A plate of snacks and 2 salty and sweet dumplings. When it's still hot, it makes people really want to try some. The movement is very fast. Put it in the hyperspace. And get a nice table of food. From the psychic space raw. Share with browsing. Around 08:30 am, he got a call from the school district attorney. He said he'll be at the mission center at 9:00. He reserved for approval. Let's go. He said to go to the battle center at 9 o'clock. Okay. Getting to the elevator, he saw 2 people in front of him. A man and a woman are standing next to each other. Area B is very large. Not everyone lives in the same place. To look around. So quiet that, as if you could hear Kim falling. Apart from them, there is no one else. So he claims that the 2 people in front must be mutants from the suburbs. The translator did not say hello. Just pull the browser, keep a distance from them. There's a person in front. The elevator is waiting to pick them up. Maybe it's because the information has been fed into the data system. So I just saw their faces. The receptive woman smiled and instructed them. Please follow me. Meeting room on the 16th floor. Not long after, one who opens the word, you must be from Tianhai City. Right? Aesthetic translation in the head. I seem to have met them before. It seems to be a mutant in the 4th city of Hein. The company doesn't know any other information. The first meeting, people know almost nothing about each other's information. This couple in front of him left an impression. It's more superficial. But that they could be in this place right now have shown that their power is not trivial. Thought, he replied. You forgot the 2 of us. The purple-haired man didn't care much and smiled. Last time to a snowstorm. You 2 are quite famous. But the sound you left behind, not very good. You can come here this time. That's amazing. He calmly evaluates the epidemic. From top to bottom. Strange appearance in the eyes. Expression is not happy. Before, because of the silence, he was defeated by Min. So people in other cities, they say that the city is weak. But today, the translation and salary review appear here. I also received an invitation from the general. This proves the strength of Zhang Yi. Can't help but surprise them. When the elevator door is closed, in this tight space of 5 people standing close together, this also helps the translation. You have the opportunity to see the 2 faces. From the moment we met, he kept looking at the flower on his shoulder. In the eyes glitter of cute rays. You can see he's a cat lover. The woman is the opposite. Body and temperament are somewhat strong. As Zhang Yi stealthily watched them, the 2 of them are also peeking at him and browsing. About the alliance, mutants in the Great Z City were eradicated. The news was interrupted. So far, it hasn't been transmitted outside the LAN. That's why these 2 people don't know. It's also normal. The girl's voice cracked. Hello, the 16th floor is here. Everybody walk out together. The purple-haired name cracked looked at Zhang with sarcastic voice. Waiting for your expression. Don't let anything happen too soon. The 2 men walked into the meeting room, shoulder to shoulder. Hoa Hoa cat, sitting on the shoulder translation chapter. Suddenly, there was a cry. Turn your head and look. Flowers are squinting, staring at their backs. Sharp eyes. It looks like it's discovered something unusual. Unfortunately, The translation doesn't know the cat's language. I can't communicate with it. He is even more alert in his heart. Walk through the meeting room door. There are a lot of people waiting inside. If you count them, it must be 10 people. This small meeting room, be arranged, there is almost no distance between them. I quickly watch them one by one. Just look at the outside. You can't know much. He looked for an empty seat and sat down. The others, after a quick glance at the newcomers, they also quickly regained their eyes. Then the whole meeting room fell silent, so that you can hear the sound of Kim falling. The police did not see Bok Lai. Where is the master or the magic? According to his guess, these people should be here with Chu. Just as he thought. When we get ready for 9:00, outside to the sound of pounding footsteps. Everyone looks back. I saw a handsome middle-aged man walk into the meeting room. Behind him are 5 men. This person is no stranger, is the commander-in-chief of the Jiangnan Zhou. And the people behind him, he is a personal bodyguard. Secretary Lan Tan Than, Minister of Warfare Vinvar, Captain of the Angel Team Dang Shen Thong, and Captain of the Black Panther, current Deputy Attorney General Than. Chu himself came into the eyes of everyone. Then turned to confirm with the Tan Than Lan Secretary standing behind. Have you all been there? Lan Tan Than nods. Have come enough. He'll walk to the center of the meeting room. Others are also looking for seats. 2 hands on the table. A serious voice, comrades. Surely you all know the reason. Why did we call everyone here today? A few days ago, the vanguard that we sent to Linhai City to destroy the Real Moon organization. It has 7 defeats. He knocked on the table. This 7-time defeat is the alarm bell for us. A group of travelers appeared in the city of Linhai this time. It's so powerful that we can't be underestimated at all. That's why we have to mobilize our elites from all over Jiangnan. Join the action this time. In other words, the people sitting here, they're all elite people, among the elites. I'm glad to see you all here. Especially some comrades who did not hesitate. Determined to come here. He said he would chase the enemy. I'm really touched. Zhou's inspiring speech. That's the opening word for this meeting. He doesn't have to make a long speech, because most people are here. They all know the progress of things. Chu continued. Next, we're going to take the team of angels as the core to form a special force in charge of handling this. Let God give you a military salute. Answer seriously yes. He said as he looked at the chief of police. What about the black team? I just completed a mission in Shanghai. Currently in a resting period, not participating in the campaign this time. However, with my experience, the bar chief can support tactics. For this campaign, the Deputy Attorney General replied solemnly. The outsiders are prepared in their hearts. So there's no opinion. Just silently listening. In terms of status and identity, they just have to obey the orders of the general. But Zhu himself took his time and dedication to explain to them. It is also a way of respecting them. Follow a program. If people have no opinion about how to arrange for this campaign, next will be the most important part. In today's day, when our pioneering group of mutants perform the task, they brought cameras and capture precious footage. This is important intelligence that we get 10 of the first month until the present time. Let's see the whole video first to get a glimpse of the enemy that we're about to face. Then I want to hear everyone's opinion. Finished talking, Chu Main signaled for Lan Tan Than video projection. He slowly sat down. Everyone's expression became serious. Collecting 10 pieces of intelligence is invaluable. It's just as important to the war of mutants. They also want to see what's so bad about the Kier group. That they can destroy 10 mutant organizations in the suburbs in less than an hour. Turn off the lights in the meeting room. A large screen appears on the wall. Watch a video recording of that day. Start the video. People have seen. The mutant organization of Haton City was attacked, first led by Peng Gia. This video is very long, even though it's been edited, but to make sure you don't miss important information, so it still has to show for more than 3 hours. The video shows an almost complete reconstruction of the war that 10 major mutant organizations faced that day, through the eyes of many. However, the integrity of the video is still lacking. Because some wars go too fast. The video can't even capture the entire scene. Just watching and thinking. These romantic organizations, it's possible to perfect mutant control of 10 organizations. It's not simple. After watching the video, Lan Tan Than stepped forward. Seriously tell everyone. In addition to the information collected at the scene 10, our general department also obtained 10 information about the organization through various intelligence channels. Invite everyone to watch. Trong Yi thought. Vi Dike fight through the editor connector. Although it can be intuitive, I can see the fighting power of the Kier people. But a little detail is easy to miss. If you could just show me a few more times, that would be great. At this time, the voice of Lan Tan Than echoed again. Out then. We're going to send all the visual material to each of you. Somewhat of a peace of mind. Many details may be missed during the viewing process. He needs to see it again and again to study raw characteristics, the power of those promiscuity. Then Lan Tan Than opens a document. Show people through the projector. The lunar eclipse came from the Hong Kong area. There were a total of 13 members before the end of the world. They are all people, doing different jobs in society. It's not a professional fighting force. After the end of the world, the leader of the Lunar Order was Howen, to start gathering powerful mutants. Formation of the lunar eclipse organization. This powerful and cruel. While in the East, they were an organization of executioners that terrified people. They don't kill people to survive. That brutally kills people. Brutal slaughter of mutants in the Vi Yuan dynasty. According to some information, that the current management organization of the Mandarin is the organization to provide the reason they carried out the mutant massacre. On such a large scale, because they were the first to discover that. Delta-level mutants and above, it's able to absorb other people's primal abilities, to evolve ourselves. That's why organization began to rely on the power in the hand to do a lunar fin scan. According to the story of Dong, the moon was defeated by them and had to flee to the sea. Lan Tan City push pair glasses, the pale blue light glistening on the lens, exudes a strange look. But there's another way of saying it, that they are the faithful followers of the Six. Sect of Rose. You don't have to send them away. They chose to land in the United States. And I've learned more new terms, such as how power is divided. The current pink, for example, they are 6. Although it's very novel, it sounds vague. This feeling is not very pleasant. Please raise your hand and ask what are the 6 signs. Lan Tan Than explained, 6 is a kind of sectarianism. Extremist ideology exists in Ng Hong. Since the Dewey Tan movement took place, some skeptics have raised the idea that These islands, not suitable for the development of the nation, rose. And thought has the most profound effect. Most people know. It's the doctrine of deep suspicion. This theory says that it's a pink island nation that's far from the 6-point shelf will one day be influenced by tectonic movement, a six-pack that sinks to the bottom of the sea. And the last resting place of the suspect, it's got to be on the 6th level. That can survive. To put it simply, in the eyes of 6, they must leave the room. Then the most ideal new residence in their eyes. It's across the sea. The translation is muttering across the sea. But that doesn't make sense either. He's carefully analyzed if he wants to land. Then landing from Scylla and Beiji would have been easiest. More than that small place. Maybe there is no strong force to defend against. Lan Tan Than nodded. You are not wrong. If you've posted 6 before, will indeed advance first from Scylla and Beiji. Only then will the territory of the United States be taken into account. But now it's an ice age and the situation has changed. Previously, the leader of the organization sent to a video. They asked us to give them a land to reside in the Trung Nguyen area. What this means is, they're worried that after the ice melts, coastal areas will also be submerged by rising seas. Lan Tan Than added, Post 6, which is a crazy group, have a very high sense of anxiety, if not for the survival situation in the highlands. Too harsh, I even suspect that. They're going to target the highlands. After listening to the explanation of Lan Tan Than, the plague can't help but frown. Because 6 different factions had this idea. Ice Age, the soul does not carry any warning signs. Human power cannot be resisted. Nature. Zhang will not sympathize with them. The calamity has come. AI can survive. It all depends on the strength of each person. They want to occupy the fertile middle plains. It's completely illusory. Zhang Yi suddenly heard a cold howl, along with the sound of banging the table. People follow the voice to look. I saw it was a man covered in clothes. In purple clothes. Wearing a strange hat. Almost the whole body is covered. His eyes were fierce. Gritted my teeth and said the damn Kier. They dare to look at the Middle East. Their leader doesn't know how to live and die. You must kill them all. If you dare to offend us, there will be consequences. Even though this man was agitated, causing the meeting to be interrupted, but no one criticized him. And everyone is outraged. I want to give those werewolves a good fight. And then there's those who are plotting around, waiting for the man to settle down. Lan New City continues to summarize. This is the source of the lunar organization. They're not professional members. As special police soldiers. It's the werewolves, literally. However, their leader is Halloween. He served 5 years in the army. Next, we'll show you information about each one of them. Suspect pink side. They also provided some intelligence. But because of concerns about the authenticity of intelligence, so we don't refer. All the content below, it all comes from our own intelligence channels. I won't read much information anymore. Everyone check it carefully. Lan Tan Than down. The content on the screen also moves. Information of the group members. Here's some information about the 13 members of the group. Real Moon Howie Mutant Power Amplification System. Unknown capacity. He had served in the Maritime Self-Defense Force from 2033 to 2037. Note, not detected. I saw him in the first fight. So there's no specific information about capacity. The heir to my family called Kai to hear the Pink King female peak. Unknown capacity. Note, not detected. I saw her in the first fight. So there's no specific information about capacity. Nobunaga male, 33 years old. The name was changed from Tsukamoto Oki, SAO to Tsukamoto Nobunaga. Contemporary transmission of the two most saved. The swordsman reached the level of immunity from all transmission. Tram residence master. He's a fighter. He was sentenced to death for killing his opponent in a sword fight. Released 7 years later. Unknown ability enhancing system mutant. Notice in the first battle. He fought with Lethine Long, the city, and captured him alive. Finally is former sumo player of the pink boxer, Corona. The mutant power of the animal system is called the Lake Tide. Sophisticated weapon set. Note that this is an extremely powerful melee mutant. In the first battle, he killed 2 teams alone. Mutant is the city of Four Hein and Li Kwok Kwong. The city is extremely dangerous. Fate before the end of time. I'm a stock trader. Mutant ejection system, unknown capacity. Notice in the first battle. I can't record his image. And there's information on some other names. After reading it, Trong Yi only felt extremely disappointed. This information is too small. Basic. I can't help him find a way to beat his opponent. Especially when you meet a group member. We'll be a little more careful. After watching the documents and videos, Zhu himself sat in the chair, seriously watching everyone. Everyone. Now that you've all seen the information. Does everyone have something to say? If there are suggestions, or for the next action, or in my heart still wonder, you can bring it up right now. Let's discuss it together. In the end, compared to the Snow City soldiers, good at collective fighting. You can see from the way the lunar team fights, they're not good at collective combat. Each member is a lone wolf, gathered by Hoenn. 10 Delta class mutants summoned from the outskirts. You could say you're the same as them. Thanks to his encouragement, someone finally opened the door. The first person to speak was a girl. This is a mutant from the city. Graduated from a national key university. To assume the position of president of the student union for many years. Your background doesn't seem bureaucratic. As always, give others a sense of energy. Never seem to get tired. Ceiling Pepper sitting seriously on the chair. Calmly analyzed through the last image. I discovered something unusual. Even though the power of these predators is strong, it's probably Delta level. But even so, they can't solve it quickly either. 10 mutant organizations. They are fully armed like that. I've suspected this before. Finished watching today's recording. The doubt in my heart is even greater. I couldn't help but look at her a few more times. God looks at you too. Oh, what do you doubt? Chen said. The reason for the first wave, we've sent out 10 teams of mutants. It's solved so easily. It's because they all have it. Opponents are the ones they're not the best at dealing with. She folded her hands. We all know that. The ability of mutants is very strange. If this person has a knack, Kier also has a union. So between the different capacities, it's a very clear institutional relationship. Good at long-range attack, afraid of close combat. The reason for this is the fear of flying a kite, and so on. Chu himself nodded in appreciation. You're right, we soon found out. Chen Zhao Zhao looked at him laughing. Then you must understand my concern. He was very serious about Chen. And everyone is there. I can assure you that. The first campaign, there's absolutely no AI leaking intelligence. It's not just trust. For everyone in the center. General Operations Commander of Jiangnan. It's about trust in the defense system. Security of the department. 01 AI can break it down and transmit information about Cho. Tran to Pepper frowned. If so, the situation is very bad.